The rain had been relentless all afternoon, flooding gutters and turning the city into a maze of puddles and reflections. Leah crouched beneath the cracked awning of a closed bookstore, her knees drawn tightly to her chest, her coat clinging to her like a second skin. Her bag, the only possession she'd managed to grab before fleeing, was soaked through, holding just a few clothes and a crumpled photo of her mother. The bruises on her arm were fresh, reminders of the night before when she finally found the strength to escape her fiancé's rage. Hunger gnawed at her stomach, but fear kept her rooted in place, too afraid to move, to trust, or to ask for help. As the city blurred with rain, a figure stopped in front of her. A man in a dark hoodie, his face half hidden in shadow, knelt down slowly. "Don't be scared," he said softly, his voice calm and warm, "I'm here now." Leah flinched, instinctively pulling back. But instead of touching her, he gently placed a paper bag beside her, a sandwich and a small cup of hot coffee. No questions. No judgment. Just kindness. She stared at the items, her trembling hands hesitating. The man didn't push her. He simply sat on the opposite side of the entrance, close enough to share the awning's cover, far enough to respect her space. They sat in silence, the rain creating a soft rhythm around them. For the first time in what felt like years, Leah didn't feel hunted. She didn't feel invisible either. She didn't know his name, and he didn't ask for hers. But that quiet moment, that simple gesture, it made something inside her flicker back to life. For the first time, she allowed herself to believe, maybe not everyone wanted to hurt her. Leah didn't expect to see the stranger again. After all, people like him, gentle, generous, usually disappeared just as quickly as they came. But the next morning, he returned. This time, clean-shaven and carrying a bag of groceries. He didn't make a scene. He simply handed her a warm croissant, asked if she'd eaten, and offered a soft smile. Then came the unexpected, "I manage a few temporary housing units. One's empty right now. It's safe, warm, no strings." Leah blinked, instantly wary. Every offer in her past came with hidden costs. But something in his voice, his eyes, made her hesitate. Her body was exhausted, trembling from cold and fear. She nodded. He led her to a small apartment tucked behind an old laundromat. It wasn't fancy, just a one-room space with peeling wallpaper and a flickering bulb, but it was quiet, clean, and hers for now. He handed her the keys, a small packet of toiletries, and a note scribbled on the back of a receipt, "You deserve peace. Take your time. Jay." That was the first time she knew his name, or at least, the name he gave her, Jay. Over the next few days, he appeared like clockwork, never entering unless invited, always respectful. He stocked the fridge with basics, repaired a leaky faucet, and even left her a new blanket folded neatly on the bed. He never asked about her bruises, her past, or why she flinched at sudden sounds. He just existed gently beside her, like a lighthouse she hadn't expected but desperately needed. Leah found herself beginning to breathe again, slowly, deeply. And as the tension in her shoulders eased for the first time in years, she began to wonder, not who Jay really was, but why someone so kind had chosen to help a woman like her. Days melted into weeks, and Leah began to feel like a shadow of her old self was slowly returning, still fragile, but alive. Jay had become a quiet constant in her world, like a lantern she could see through the dark. He never intruded, never overstepped. But something about him always felt deeper. His calm demeanor, the way he moved like someone trained to blend in, yet carried himself with quiet precision. Leah never pressed, she didn't want to break the fragile peace they'd both found. But one morning, while tidying the kitchen, she noticed his phone buzzing on the table. He was asleep on the couch, exhausted from fixing a broken lock in her door the night before. She glanced at the screen, intending to silence it, but what she saw froze her blood, a message preview that read, "The board is still asking if you're alive, Jace." Her heart thudded. Jace? Her eyes darted to the open screen. curiosity overtook hesitation. There were emails from assistants, screenshots of financial reports, even news clippings about a billionaire named Jace Wellington, the presumed missing heir of the Wellington Empire, vanished without a word 6 months ago. Her stomach flipped. Jay wasn't just kind. He was someone. Someone powerful, someone hiding. She felt the air shift. He stirred awake, and when their eyes met, he knew. "You saw it," he said quietly, sitting up. Leah nodded slowly. "Why didn't you tell me?" she whispered. His gaze softened, guilt etched across his face. "Because I didn't want to be seen as a project, or saved because of my last name. I just wanted to be real for once." Silence lingered between them, thick, vulnerable. And for the first time, Leah saw the man behind the mask. Not a billionaire. Not a mystery. Just someone just as lost as she once was. The days after the truth unfolded were quiet, but not cold. Leah didn't run. She didn't slam the door or demand answers. Instead, she sat beside Jace on the rooftop of the apartment building, the city stretching beneath them, glowing in twilight. He spoke in pieces, about the scandal that shattered his family, the pressure of inheriting an empire built on reputation, and the guilt of losing his younger brother to suicide while the media watched like vultures. "I disappeared because I couldn't breathe anymore," he admitted, eyes distant. "But you didn't just survive. You fought to keep your soul." Leah listened, her fingers wrapped around a chipped coffee mug he'd brought her weeks ago. She realized then, he didn't save her out of pity. He saw something in her that he needed to remember in himself, resilience. When the paparazzi finally tracked him down, camera flashes exploding outside the building, Leah stood beside him, unshaken. He offered to move her somewhere safer, but she declined. "I don't want your money, Jace. I want what you gave me when I had nothing: honesty, safety, choice." His smile, small but genuine, held more gratitude than words could carry. Months later, a charity shelter opened downtown, funded anonymously. Leah managed it. Jace helped build it, quietly, in plain clothes. They didn't wear their pasts like armor anymore. They wore them like proof that broken people could still be whole. And as they stood side by side during the ribbon cutting, a child clung to Leah's leg, frightened by the cameras. Without hesitation, Jace knelt down and whispered to the boy the same words he once gave to her. "Don't be scared, I'm here now." It wasn't wealth that healed Leah. It was being seen, truly seen, by someone who chose to stay.